2025 will be massive. With one single tax change, we are collectively saving 200 million euros in taxes, and there are 7 more changes coming next year. Some positive, which means you get more money than this year, and some not so positive, which means you don't get anything. Find out if you are on the winning side in 2025 or if you are on the losing side in this PerFinEx video. Let's start with the positive news. Every single one of you guys watching will pay less taxes next year than this year. Why? Because the so-called Grundfreibetrag is rising from 11,784 euros to 12,096 euros. What does that mean exactly? This is the chart showing how much taxes you are paying this year. And the little red circle shows you how much money you can earn without paying any taxes. This year it's 11,784 euros, and next year it will be 12,096 euros, which means that the entire chart will basically move to the right. Everything after this 12k will be subject to tax, with at least 14% if you follow the blue line. And everything after 66,760 euros this year will be taxed with 42%. And that's the second good news of this video, that the 42% income tax bracket will also start later next year at 68,430 euros. Something that is misunderstood a lot of times when it comes to taxes is that many people seem to think you have to pay 42% taxes when you earn 66,760 euros. But that's not true, because that would mean that you have to pay over 28,000 euros in taxes, which is far from reality. Only the income after 66,670 euro will be taxed with 42%. Everything before that will be taxed less according to the blue line. And the average of the blue line until 66k is the purple line, which means that your real tax rate is 26% only, and you will pay 17,402 euro in taxes. And just as easily, by clearing this misunderstanding, we saved you almost 11,000 euro in taxes. How much will you pay next year with the same income? Nobody knows, because the official government calculator isn't updated yet. But it will be less taxes than this year. Probably a couple of hundred euros at least. So far for the good news. Feels like we're on a roll here. But of course, there's also some negative news. Let's say it like it is. Social Security contributions are rising again, and more than any other time in history. So here goes your second misunderstanding, that public health insurance doesn't get more expensive. Let's take a close look at this. The German social security system is split into 5 different parts. But since you don't pay for the accident insurance, this one is paid 100% by your employer, let's look at the 4 insurances that you do pay for. If you are in the public health insurance, the maximum salary that is subject to premiums this year is 62,100 euro, which rises next year to 66,150 euro. What does this mean? Let's say you earn the average salary here in Germany of a little over 45,000 euros. Then nothing changes for you. Yet, you will still pay more for public health insurance next year. We'll come to that in a moment. But nothing changes so far because your salary is below the maximum. Now let's say you earn 70k. Then the amount of salary that you have to pay public health insurance on rises by 4,050 euro. And the other 4,000 euro from 66k to your 70k salary, they are still free. You don't have to pay any health insurance contributions on this. So that alone increases your public health insurance costs by up to 6.5%. But wait, there's more. How much percent of that 66k do you really have to pay? What's your real contribution? This year it is 14.6% standard contribution plus 1.7% additional contribution. So 16.3% total percentage of your salary. Next year, This 1.7% will rise to 2.5%. 2.5%! That means the additional contribution doubled over the last 3 years. Now, I don't even want to the public health insurances here, because the percentages are determined by the government. But this is getting out of hand. Last year was the first year in which you had to pay more than 10,000 euro for health insurance. And in 2026, you will probably have to pay more than 1,000 euros a month. So what's the end result? The increase in the maximum salary amount combined with the percentage increase means that your total increase is almost 100 euros a month. 11.87% more compared to this year. Now tell me again that public health insurance doesn't rise. The numbers are right here on screen. And that's still not all, because care insurance is part of health insurance. And that's why the maximum salary increased accordingly. And the percentage will increase as well from 4% to 4.2%. That's what the government confirmed earlier this week, which means the public care insurance will rise almost as much as the public health insurance, by 11.84% next year. Now, if you are thinking, holy I'm with you on this one. We knew the increase of the public health insurance was big, but 12%? That's a different animal. And since we've done a similar video last year, we have the numbers. And the increase of the public health insurance last year was 4.39% only. I still can't believe that you have to pay more than 14,000 euro for public health insurance next year. 50% of that because your employer pays the other half, but still, it was not even 12,000 euros 2 years ago. Now, what are your options here? If you earn more than 73,800 euro next year, you can switch to the private health insurance. Is it all sunshine and rainbows in the private health insurance? Certainly not, but it's a whole lot better than in public. Here's a private health insurance that will increase by 2.32% on the low end this year. And this insurance increases by 6.36% on the high end this year. There's not one single insurance among all the clients we have that increases as much as public, not even close. There are even private health insurance plans that go down in price. This one by about 0.5% and this one by 5.79%. 6% cheaper, or while public rises by 12%. And if you wonder if this year is an outlier and there's nothing to worry about, I have to disappoint you, my friend. Because it is the same story every single year with the public health insurance in gray and the private health insurance in orange. Your only option is to escape this mess if you earn above 73,800 euro and switch to the private health insurance. And if you would like our help to find the best private health insurance plan for you, then let us know by booking a free meeting with us on perfinex.de/meeting. The worst news is over, but there are still 2 insurances left in the German social security system. And of course, they rise as well. The public pension and the unemployment insurance rise by 6.62% only. And since their percentages stay the exact same this year, the calculation is easy. And to sum it all up, your social security contributions rise by 1%, which means you and your employer pay 2,756 euros more than this year, a total increase of 8.66% compared to 4.99% last year. Oh boy, this is going in the wrong direction. After this shocker, we need some good news, eh? Private pensions get better. For the first time in 30 years, the government increased the minimum guaranteed interest private pensions have to give you, so that's worth celebrating. It quadrupled to 1%, which sounds nice, but what's the impact really? Probably very little, to be honest. Most of our clients have ETF pensions anyway, so they don't get the guaranteed return, they get the ETF return. And all pensions I know of generate way more interest than 1% anyway. So thanks government for what it's worth, but Let's move to the next topic. Oh, I forgot one thing about the public pension, and you're not gonna like it. You pay 18.6% of your salary up to almost 18,000 euros to the German public pension. We talked about that earlier. But what do you actually get for all your hard-earned money? It's easiest to say that the average German salary you see here gets you 1 public pension point. And the average German salary this year is projected to be 45,358 euros. And if the graphic is true, you would need to earn 2.51% more next year to receive 1 pension point, right? But of course, it's not true. How much do you think the increase will be? 11.32%, because you need 50,493 euro to get 1 pension point next year. Who the f earns 11% more year over year? This is an increase we have never seen before in history. And to show you what this means, if you earn the average salary next year, you earn before retirement 50,493 euros a year or 4,207 euros a month. You pay 9.3% of that to the pension, and your employer pays another 9.3%, so 18.6% in total. We talked about that earlier. If you earn the average salary and pay the average contribution, you will get 1 pension point, which equals 39.32 euro of monthly pension when you retire. Now, if you do that over 30 years, you will get 1,179 euros in retirement, while earning 4,207 euros before retirement. That's 72% less in retirement than before retirement. And to show you how bad that really is, if the government would allow you to put your 782 euro into a private ETF pension, you would get a monthly pension of 4,412 euro with a 6% projected rate of return. You give them enough money to ensure that every single one of you guys can have a comfortable retirement, if the government wouldn't be wasteful with it. I don't know about you, but after all these negative news, I need something good again. And there's a lot of good for all the kids out there. The Kindergeld was increased a while ago to 250 euros a month. And now the government wanted to increase it even more by replacing it with a program called Kindergrundsicherung. That is much needed because our German Statistical Office published earlier this year that every 7th child here in Germany is at risk of living in poverty. The most shocking number of this video, in my opinion. To fight this, the traffic light government, consisting of the red, yellow and green party, wanted to introduce this Kindergrundsicherung. Every child would get at least 255 euros a month, so more than the current Kindergeld, and depending on the income of the parents, the child could get even more. And this would have been a big step in the right direction, if you ask me. Now, if you listen closely, I spoke a lot in could, would, should. Why? Because the traffic light government just broke apart earlier this week. Sounds pretty bad, but I agree with a lot of German news media here. About time that this was over. And since the show must go on, there will be new elections on February 23rd next year. And that means that anything is possible. Be prepared for shady politicians lying right in our face just to get our vote. So be careful where you make your cross if you're allowed to vote. What did we learn in this video? A new year brings new rules and new numbers. Same old story so far. But next year, oh boy. If you didn't realize so far that the government will not be the solution and you need to take care of your very own financial situation yourself, it should be pretty obvious after watching this video. So exit from all the government programs that you can and get as much taxes and social security contributions back as you can. And if we can help you with that, then let us know by booking a free meeting with us on perfinex.de/meeting. Just keep in mind that we are no tax advisor and we cannot file your taxes for you. But filing taxes doesn't help you anyway. You need to plan ahead if you want to save taxes and Social Security in the future. And that's what we can do together with you.